Growing up as a creative, what I learned really early on is creativity comes from having the box. Like, give me the constraints of the box so then I know how to go around it. When it comes to systems in business, the foundation is the springboard for creativity.
Welcome to Girls Make Bank, the podcast show for women who want to learn the art of selling for business and for life. I'm Jac White, seasoned sales professional, entrepreneur, and owner of Honeybees Group. Come back each week to hear inspiring stories from some of our favorite business owners. Learn how to take the ache out of selling and make bank. We're all in this together, so let's get started. This episode coming up is really important. I am talking to Devin Lee, who is a systems expert. Devin helps small business owners, service providers, and solopreneurs build systems in their business to free up their time and energy and mental capacity to focus on higher level things in their business. Devin is building her business very intentionally because she wants to have a freedom-based business. She travels all the time. And I love that she is building a business that gives her the time and the space to do what she wants while helping support other women business owners. She shares some great tips and also talks about her business journey. So stick around. You're going to want to hear from Devin. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Girls Make Bank. And today I am joined by Devin Lee. I am so excited to talk to you. Devin, welcome to Girls Make Bank.
Hi, Jac. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited for this.
I'm such a fan of yours. We've gotten to meet in person. We are a part of some of the same online communities, and everyone who says your name talks about how brilliant you are at what you do and how cool you are. And so I'm very excited for Girls Make Bank listeners to get to know you. So for those people who do not know you, tell me a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Sure. Hi, everybody. I'm Devin Lee. I'm a systems strategist. So I use thoughtful processes, custom tech stacks to design the processes in the back end of your the back end of your business. And then once we design those together, I build all of it for you so that you can reclaim time and that headspace to do that high impact work. So my goal is to get you out of the weeds, remove you as the bottleneck from your business so that you can do more important things and you're not stuck. And that way you can you're not plateauing and you can go to the next level in your business.
Which is so, so important. I think we think about systems in terms of big corporations and large businesses and big teams and multiple people working together. I've been solopreneuring now for 7 years and have realized the importance of systems more, or in a different way, I should say, as a small business owner than I did in corporate. Can you talk about why it is so important for small businesses and solopreneurs to have really great systems?
Yes. And I'm glad you mentioned that kind of corporate to solopreneur, like the difference, because I think, and I've never worked in corporate, but it's what it sounds like to me is when you're in corporate, the systems are already there. So you don't really notice them. It's like design. Like if it's working well, you don't really notice it. And when you first start your business and you're on your own, you're kind of just getting your sea legs. You're just figuring it out. And so you don't really think about systems until you get a little bit of success. So maybe your framework is proven and you know what you're selling and you're getting good at selling and you're starting to build a team, even if it's like a VA or just a handful of contractors, and there's more communication that needs to happen. And the people that come to me are at that point where they're growing and they're treading water and they're spiraling and they're like, well, what's going on? And the thing is, the systems that got you to that point, which even if they are not really well thought out systems or consistent systems, they are there, but those systems are not going to get you to the next point
Yeah.
where you want to go. And this is something like the hill I'll die on. The thing that I want to shout to the world is, everyone understands you need a website and you need a logo, you need a marketing strategy. But I don't think enough people think about like, oh, you also need systems to run your business.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to grow with ease, grow it all, to be honest.
Yeah. And I think systems, at least for me in my business right now, are becoming even more important than some of the other things because it's actually starting to hold me back in my business, not having systems. I
Yes.
can't sell as much. I'm spending more time doing manual things than I am building my business. And so I think there is a point, and it's the same you mentioned, like sales and websites and all of that. I do think it's important and interesting. I'd love your take on this. I always tell people like sell before you build. Before you
Yes.
build offers, before you build a website, like sell something, start making money, start doing work, then figure out what you want to do. And I feel like systems are kind of the same way.
Yes.
Is like start doing it and be okay with the mess because then you will know the type of system that you need to build or what you actually need to build a system for. Because I think there are a lot of times when people make investments too early and they don't know exactly what it is. Like somebody builds a website and they think they're going to do something. And then they find out nobody wants to buy that thing. They want to buy the other thing. And so now they've spent all this money creating offers and a website that nobody wants. And I think systems can be sort of the same thing. So it's like you sort of need to sit in a mess for a bit. And then to your point, when you hit that inflection point, that's when you start to think about how do I operationalize this a little bit?
1000%. And that's why I really, with a few rare exceptions, I primarily work with people who have been in business for a minute, that are established, and that again have a proven framework.
Mhm.
Like I know this can sell because I have been in a situation in my more, my younger years, system strategist, where I've spent all this time, a client has spent a bunch of money on an idea that they had. And I can give a lot of recommendations on processes.
Yeah.
And I should also clarify, my focus is on the offer suite.
Got
So
it.
it's, so that's why I think about you have to have a proven framework because I want to know that you've done this before and you're going to sell it.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to have to set up a system that you sell once and then you never sell it again because turns out people don't want it.
Mhm.
Or once you start getting into the thick of it, like different processes are needed than you thought originally.
Yeah.
And every system I build is custom to that business owner. Again, I can get in and collaborate with them, and I have my most efficient way of doing things that I can recommend. But ultimately, you know how you work with a client, and you're not going to know that until you've sold it a few times.
Yeah, I agree. So you mentioned when you were a younger systems specialist. Let's take a step back and talk to me about the beginning of your career and what you were doing and what led you to what it is you do now.
Sure. I love an origin story. If we go all the way back, in my 20s, like most people, I did a bunch of random things. I was like a client partner at a digital agency, a QA specialist, a nanny, a Montessori teacher, a co-producer, whatever. I did a million different things. But the thing I did consistently on the side, I didn't know this was the name. I was a virtual assistant for all of my 20s for sometimes some big visionaries.
Mhm.
And so that's where I really honed the skill of this person is constantly having ideas. And once a week, they download their ideas to me and I listen and then I grab the ones that I think are reasonable. Because visionaries are just always popping off ideas. So I'm
Yes.
like, okay, these are the ones that we're actually going to do. And then I am going to create the plan to actually execute them and bring them to life. And so that's where I really honed the skill of you brain dump on me
Yeah.
and I'll grab it and then I'll make sense of it and then I'll make it real. So I did that for a while. Fast forward to 2017, I started my first business as a professional home organizer.
Ooh.
Very Virgo of me.
Yeah.
which was like a really exciting, fun, interesting business to have. And I was just like thrown to the wolves. I had to figure out how to run a business really, really quickly.
Yeah.
And what was interesting is because one, I was in my clients' homes all day. So I did not have time to like be on the computer very much. And almost all of my clients had ADHD or some cognitive neurodivergence where they needed a lot of reminders and they needed things to be really, really easy. So I had to, one, make all of my processes efficient and streamlined ASAP. And I had to come up with as many automations as possible because I didn't have time to be on the computer, like chasing someone down for an invoice. I had to like get tight quick. So during that time, as I'm like figuring that out, in 2019, I started VAing again to have some little extra cash. And my first client was a business coach. And literally 3 weeks in, she was like, you're not a virtual assistant. You're actually an online business manager. And I had never heard of that.
Yeah, what
I
is
was like,
that?
"What's that?" So I looked that up. I was like, oh, wow, I've really been under charging.
Yeah.
So I had kind of these two businesses where,
Yeah.
I had my professional organizing business and then I was like moonlighting as an OBM where I could take everything I learned from running my organizing business and apply it to other people's online businesses.
I was going to say, it's like the way your brain
Yes.
works. It's a similar thing in the real world and in the sort of online business world.
Exactly. And so I did that for probably 6 months. And then the turning point in literally everybody's story, dun, 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 COVID hit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I had to shut down my home organizing business. And all in one day, I completely pivoted to be an online business manager and booked out completely in a month. And what was amazing is I then got to be deep in multiple different businesses, all different kinds of businesses, and learn how to see the inside and learn how to build systems for all different businesses. And I could see what was unique to different industries and what was kind of all the same on the back end. And so that just naturally kind of turned into, well, I don't want to be in the day-to-day anymore. I'm a systems strategist. I just want to focus on building those systems. And that's kind of what led us to where we are today.
And it's I interview a lot of women and meet a lot of women, and there's such a through line in the story of, I wanted to do something. I just started doing something and realized I was good at it or was solving a problem that I needed. So really the first system you built was for yourself.
Yes,
because you were in people's homes and you're like, okay, I need to learn how to run a business. I call them accidental entrepreneurs. You never thought you would run your own business and you did. And you were like, hey, I'm pretty good at this. Now I know what it's called. Now I know how to do it. And I think it's such a relatable story because so many women are in business as service providers who had a similar journey. And I think it's fantastic. It's why I do what I do, is to help women make money doing what it is, they want to do on their own terms. I want to talk about how you are building your business on your own terms because I'm really impressed and fascinated by it. You mentioned something before about the people that you were VAing for were like creative or in these sort of non-traditional spaces. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs and creative people resist systems and structure because they think it kills the nimbleness in a business or it kills the creativity or the flexibility that you have in a business. Can you give us your perspective on that? Because I'm pretty sure you're going to disagree with that.
Of course. To take it back even further. So I went to art school for 8 years straight. I actually got a degree in business from art school. Fun fact about me.
Where did you go to school?
My college was Ringling College of Art and Design in Sarasota, Florida.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
I also went to fashion. I went to FIT, Fashion Institute of Technology in New York, and studied advertising and marketing for fashion, which I feel like is a non-traditional path for what I do also, but loved that experience. I also love creative people. I'm married to a creative person. So, yes.
So we have a lot of overlap, you and I, is what I'm hearing. Yeah. So growing up as a creative, what I learned really early on is creativity comes from having the box. Like, give me the constraints of the box so then I know how to go around it. And if you're a creative, you just know what that means. I don't know
Yeah.
how else to
Yeah.
explain it.
No, it's true. Yes.
When it comes to systems in business, the foundation is the springboard for creativity. So, for example, I'll give the example of when I talk about automations, sometimes people get really caught up in, well, I don't want my clients to feel like they're just getting an automated email and they don't have that personal touch and I want to be creative. It's like,
Wow, wow,
okay,
wow.
let's,
Yeah.
oh, please, but let's say for example, the onboarding email. Like, I want to personally welcome all of my clients as soon as they sign on. It's like, okay, well, let's say instead of you spending the time personally welcoming every single client you've ever had, what if instead you write a really beautiful, thoughtful, creative, branded email once that you tweak sometimes,
Yeah.
but you write it once and it can have all of your branding in it. It can have a link to, I like to put GIFs,
Mm-hmm.
little
Mm-hmm.
fun graphics in mine, maybe even a little video. You can write that once, have it automated. So the moment that they sign the contract, they're
Yeah.
immediately getting an email welcoming them. They don't have to wait for you to notice. They can do it at 2 a.m. and they're immediately getting onboarded. And if I don't have to keep track of little things like, oh, I got to send an onboarding email. If it's just done and it's just running and happening, oh my God, I have so
Mm-hmm.
much more brain
Mm-hmm.
space for other high impact work. In fact, I actually just recently sent an email. I've been in the creative vortex lately personally. I will go on a bus ride for 30 minutes with my eyes closed and literally come up with like 8 email ideas.
I love
And I'll
that.
have to voice note them to
Yeah.
get it all out of my head to record it. And the reason I'm able to be so creative is because when I'm sitting on the bus going to wherever I'm going, I'm not thinking about like, oh, did that client pay me?
Yeah.
Did they fill out their form? No, my systems are in place. My automations are taking care of it. So now I have a lot of open space to do content marketing, coffee chats, things that really matter to me.
That is such a great way to put it in perspective. And I also think not only is it freeing up your brain to focus on higher level things, how can you make your business better? How can you increase touch points? How can you do these other things? What a great client experience. It's a
Exactly.
better experience for your clients when you don't have to be the bottleneck. Things just happen. So you sign up at 2 in the morning. At 2:01, you get a beautiful welcome email. It's not the next day at 3 o'clock when you have a slot in, your window. And so I was very resistant to systems in my business in the beginning because I was that founder who said, if it's not done by me, it's not going to feel good. And my perspective has really changed on that. I'm all on board now. I believe in the power of a
I'm
system.
so happy. Yeah, that's what I really try to emphasize is when you have the systems in place, everyone wins.
Yeah.
You are doing less manual work and your client is having a better experience. Like, why would you want anything else?
Yeah. So for someone who's listening, who is like, okay, I don't have systems in place. I don't never thought I needed them, but now I'm listening to Devin and I'm like, okay, maybe this is where the bottleneck is, but I don't know where to start. Like, what's step one in figuring out what system, how to implement, where to do it? Like, it's also one of these things that, like taxes or bookkeeping, it feels overwhelming to someone who doesn't know how to do it or has never done it before for themselves. So, where do you start?
Yes. Okay. So if you are super baby, brand new to systems, you don't know where to begin, we're going to start really, really small. Pick one task that you do recurring. So maybe it's scheduling your content, maybe it's doing your bookkeeping, maybe it's onboarding a client. Just pick one thing. We're just going to really hone in
Mm-hmm.
and then literally get out a Google Doc and just type out what's step one,
Yeah.
what's step two, what's step three. And once you brain dump, then you're going to go back. You're going to add in all the steps you forgot.
Yeah.
Because what I find is, and spoiler, this is what I do. It's called process mapping. We're going to map out the process. So
Yes.
you can use something like Miro to visually map it out, but sometimes just a good old Google Doc will do. People will say, oh, my onboarding's 2 steps. No, it's 15.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So go in and think of literally every single teeny tiny thing you do, write it all down. Once it's written down, then you can go back and say, okay, like what feels sticky? What step am I missing? What step doesn't need to be there? And then you can start to dream, like, is there someone I can, like, is there a drive an assistant I can delegate this one task to? Is there an automation I can
Mm-hmm.
research? But even before the automations and the delegation, if you're really starting from the beginning, once you have that list, make it a template in your project management tool.
Yeah.
So onboarding is always the easiest example. I still have an onboarding template. As soon as a client starts working with me, I create a template in Asana, and it's like, pay my referral partner who sent them to me. Look up their address in the contract and send them a $20 gift certificate
Mm-hmm.
to a local coffee shop. Like, just have it listed out so you don't have to remember it.
Yeah.
So that's level 1, is just dump it out.
Yep.
If you're a little bit more advanced and you're like, Devin, I have a proven offer, I need something bigger than that, you can do process mapping with me. I do it as a one-off container session where we map it out together. And then I can bring in my expertise, or someone like me. Maybe you have a systems person you already know and trust, but someone like me can really lay it out. One, pull out of all of the steps out of your head that you missed.
Yeah.
Lay out, figure out like what's sticky, what are the recommendations to make it more efficient, and then do tech recommendations. Like, okay, based on what you want to do, there's some tech and tools that you could use to make it happen.
Yeah. And by the way, I've done systems process mapping before. I think it is one of the biggest bang for your buck investments that you can make in your business, because if you're good at doing things on your own, like figuring out how to use a system or whatever it is, paying someone to do the systems mapping with you, I think gives you thought partnership to like figure out like where are the steps you're missing, how do we optimize this? And at least for me, I'm a visual learner. Being able to see it all mapped out, and if you've done this process before, you know that each little step has a different shape or a different color or a different symbol. And it's so nice. Now, I can get in there and figure out systems. I don't know that it's the best use of my time. So, but even just being able to do that with someone, I think is so incredibly helpful to map out your systems. And one of the things that was so fascinating to me when I went through this process the first time was how many things are systems in my business that I didn't realize were actually systems in my business. And they're like, well, what about this? And I'm like, I don't know. I just do that. And they're like, okay, that's actually a system. And you're like, what? That's a system? It's like there are things that you can map out that you don't even realize is a system. It's kind of enlightening.
And one of my favorite, there's a lot of amazing, juicy outcomes from a process mapping session with me, I find. One of my favorites is when I'm in the thick of it, in the middle of it with a client, and we're like, what about this? What about this? What about that? And we're pulling out all these little tasks that they, again, didn't think that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I guess I do all that. I've had this happen many times where in the middle of it, the client will go, I need to raise my prices. I'm doing a lot.
Yeah.
And they feel confident and they can speak to what they're selling. Not just the transformation, but like they know their framework. They know the work they're putting in. They know what the client is getting because they have this, like, I have one client who she told me the other day, she's like, I'm going to laminate my process map. I love it.
Yeah. It's good. How do you know when your process is good enough or when it's time to upgrade it? Like, what are the triggers that sort of say, okay, I have a process. Maybe you've done process mapping before. Maybe you've hired someone or you've built a system yourself. You're like, okay, now it's 3 years later. Is it time to upgrade? How do you know when it's time?
Ooh, that's a tricky question. I don't know if there's one answer. I do know when people come to me, it's because they're hitting a plateau. I have two specific answers.
Okay.
The first is the obvious one. People come to me when they're like, I've hit a plateau. I feel stressed. My delivery feels clunky. My offer feels clunky to deliver. I had one person tell me last week, my client complained. They said my team doesn't feel like a cohesive team because like things feel sticky and you can kind of know like things could be better.
Yeah.
The second thing is, and this one's harder for me to tell people, but you don't know what you don't know. For example, I have been on a few sales calls where the person will be telling me, oh, I just send the contract as a PDF and that usually is fine. And this pains me because it's like you are remembering the people who signed that PDF and it was fine.
Yeah.
You aren't remembering or you don't know the people who needed more reminders because you just send an email and then walk away.
Yep.
You're not remembering the leads you lost. And you're also not remembering the people who had a bad client experience because you're sending a contract as a PDF and you thought that was good enough. They're not going to tell you this is actually like weird for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they're not going to come back if they're having a poor client experience. So sometimes it's nice just to get a little checkup because most people might have an okay experience with you or a bad one and not tell you, and you don't know.
Yeah. As a systems expert, when you are working with other businesses and you can tell that they don't have the proper system in place, does it like make you crazy? Does it make you feel bad? Are you like, hey, this is what I do. Need some help?
Yeah, this is an ongoing issue for me where, okay, my favorite story of this, because ever since I bought a house, this has like gone up times a million where I'm trying to hire a plumber or, a pool guy and their systems and I'm like, I know you won't hire me, but like, this isn't working for me and I will pay you more to not have to, whatever. Anyways, could really go on a rant about that. But I'll say I hired a lovely man as a contractor. I had my basement remodeled last year. Great guy. And our first conversation, he says, okay, well, you can send me a check. I only accept checks as payments. And I said, well, okay, well, I travel a lot. First of all, I'm a millennial. I don't have
a checkbook. Okay.
I don't have a checkbook. What are you talking about? Secondly, I travel a lot. Like you're in Portland, but I spend a lot of time in Florida. I'm not going to mail you a check for $12,000.
Right.
Like it's not a good system. And he went on this whole tangent about how, well, there's a bank in Florida that if I can give you my bank info and they can do this whole complicated thing. And I said, look, I don't want to overstep. I do this for a living. I know for a fact that your bookkeeping tool allows you to send invoices and that you can take ACH payments. I know that you can do it. And I know you can set it up in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, I just don't feel comfortable giving out my personal information. I said, brother, you just gave me your personal information. I met you 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
By the end of the day, he had set up his line.
Yep.
The rest of the project. And every time I talked to him, he was like, oh my God, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. And so those businesses are probably so ripe for systems because talk about accidental entrepreneurs. If you're a plumber, an electrician, a pool service person, my brother does work like that in Florida and he is the best. You need a kitchen or a bathroom remodel. I won't send you to anybody else, but he does not want to be a small business owner. And guess what? That's what you are. And so
it's tough because you can be the most talented whatever. I give it, the restaurant is a good analogy. You can be the most amazing chef in the world.
Yep.
But if your server sucks and the food doesn't make its way to the table or it makes it and it's cold or it's out of order, if your system for delivering the food and your talent to that client sucks, they're not coming back.
Yeah, that's right. So you mentioned you have a house in Portland, you spend time in Florida. I feel like every time I talk to you, you're in a different place.
Yes.
And I love that you have built a business that supports the lifestyle that you want to have. I call like you are a real digital nomad. Talk to me about how you design your business, how you have intentionally designed your business in a way that lets you lead the life that you want to lead. I think that's a huge part of entrepreneurship. We talk about freedom of time, we talk about freedom of money. That looks different for everyone. What does that look like for you? And how do you think about building your business in a way that lets you live your life the way you want to?
Yes. Surprise, surprise. Systems is a huge part of
Mm.
it.
Surprise,
um,
surprise.
Surprise, surprise. I think the first piece is I'm able to plan my time really well because
Mm.
my offer is planned out. Like it's a 5 month
It's a set
offer.
container.
It's a set container.
Yeah.
Month 1 is prep. Months 2 and 3 is build. Month 4 and 5 is support. Every time I know exactly, not exactly how long it takes because every client is different, but I know
Sure.
what can happen within each window. So because of that, I can look ahead into the year and I book out pretty far. I can say June's going to be a slow month because during June, I'm offboarding one client and I'm onboarding another client. I'm not doing any build. June is a great time for me to maybe be crossing a lot of time zones.
Yeah.
So, one, having my offer really, really process mapped out and solid and knowing exactly what's going to happen allows me to plan my life. And then also, I have a lot of automations in place.
Yeah.
Like I have a Dubsado VIP day, for example. The process of that is you pay. As soon as you pay, you get a welcome email with your onboarding forms. As soon as you finish your onboarding forms, you get access to my scheduler. You can schedule the VIP day. So the client is doing all of this work. It's
Mm-hmm.
all the onboarding forms or reminders are automated because it's all automated. I don't talk to them until the day before the VIP day.
Right.
So I can be in a different time zone
Mm-hmm.
and they are still getting a ton of support asynchronously.
Yeah.
So it's all about starting with a goal of if I want to be in any time zone and I want a flexible schedule, how can I make my business really flexible to match that?
Yeah. I think it's a good idea. I have a young son. We don't, we don't have the same kind of flexibility, but I would love that freedom of time, right? So you're creating freedom in your business and automation and systems in your business so that you can travel. That's your why. No matter what your why is, the system and the automation is what will give you the opportunity to pick my son up from school 3 days a
Yep.
week. Whatever the thing is that you want to do, or just be able to take on more clients, have more
Yes.
bandwidth to work more and make more in your business. I love that. What parts of your business did you systematize first? And this might be like going back to your home organization business versus and or what did you first systematize and what you're doing now?
The thing I always go back to is the first time I discovered a scheduler. When I first discovered
Mm,
Acuity,
yeah.
it blew my mind. And this is not like a system, perhaps, it's just a tool
Yeah.
that lives inside of a bigger system. But the fact that my client could schedule and pay at the same time and then get automated reminders, I was like, this changes everything.
Yeah.
Other low hanging fruit that I think people should start with is like onboarding and offboarding. Like you can automate so much of
Yeah.
onboarding and really impress your clients
Yeah.
immediately.
Yeah.
Like as soon as a client starts working with me, a Google folder is created, an Asana project is created. Like all these things are just created and then I can just get to work. And then offboarding is such a low lift. People, I think, when you're done with working with a client, you're like, okay, here's your stuff. Bye.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to ask for a testimonial. It feels weird. No, automate it.
Yeah.
Check in. You can automate all these things or at least have a system for how you want to do it and just do it on repeat over and over
Yeah.
again.
ChatGPT, this is where I do think you can use ChatGPT because in our business, one of the first things we did is we created SOP documents, standard
Yes.
order, procedure. What does it stand for? Standard
Operating
standard operating procedure. We did this, and not that long ago, we updated them because my business has pivoted in the last year. So we updated it. And ChatGPT, for those of you who want to DIY this yourself as a first step, was fantastic at
Yes.
giving us an SOP template and helping us sort of think through all of the things we had to think through, almost like a checklist in our
Yes.
business. And once we did that and we realized, like, oh, there's tons of systems. Oh, this is a lot of different steps. We need to now, kind of get some outside help to do it. But I think that's a great use case for AI in the beginning
Yes.
as a first step.
And if I may,
Yeah.
I have a good hack for using
Ooh.
ChatGPT to write SOPs. So everybody,
Yes.
this is where you take notes. So, okay, the two tools I use to make SOPs are Loom and Scribe. I love both of them. So what I'll do is Scribe is basically taking screenshots and writing out what you're doing, for those of you who are not familiar. So if I'm done taking a Scribe, I'll go back and I'll update like the copy, the words in the Scribe. Loom, I'm just narrating what I'm doing.
Yes.
So anytime I want to make an SOP, that's where I start. Loom is great because you can just talk while you're clicking. Then I either copy and paste all of the text in the Scribe, or I copy the transcript from Loom. Then I go over to ChatGPT. I have taught ChatGPT, like, this is exactly how I want my SOPs to be formatted.
Yeah.
I paste in the transcript. I say, please turn this into an SOP. Now I have an SOP that has visual instructions and written instructions that match the Loom I've just made. Now that's going into my SOP library. I double check it. I clean it up a little bit.
Sure, of course.
But now all I had to do was word vomit.
Yeah.
And ChatGPT did the rest.
Which is actually really the best way, I think, to do it. I did a similar thing on Zoom where I did the thing that I needed my virtual assistant to create an SOP for, where I said, okay, I'm creating an email in Kit. I'm clicking here. I'm doing this. Here's the template that I'm using. Here's what it is. And then sent it to her and she created the SOP. You're essentially using AI as your virtual assistant here. And that to me has been so much easier because when I have to think about, okay, what are the steps that I do to send an email to my email newsletter? I'm missing steps. But when I'm doing it, because there's so many things that we do that we just do and we don't realize we're doing it, it's force of habit. So I love that. And that is a good cheat with AI. That makes a lot of sense. Inside the Honeybees Sales Circle, which is my paid membership, I was doing a presentation. We had like a group workshop and I was sharing my screen and my email inbox came up and they were horrified at the number of unread emails that I had in my inbox. I'm embarrassed. I can't even believe I'm sharing this now. You have a handy dandy little course where you help people get their inbox under control. Can you tell me about it? Because I need to go buy it right after this.
You got it, Jac. It's called Inbox Zero Hero. It's so funny because I am inside of a lot of inboxes and I tell people, don't be embarrassed. I've seen, like, you wouldn't believe unread emails. And actually at the top of my Inbox Zero Hero landing page, you'll see all the testimonials of people who were like, I had 20,000 unread emails. Crazy. So Inbox Zero Hero is a 5-day mini course. It's just sent to your email. You have to log in. It's I say it's the price of a fancy sandwich. It's $16. And every day you get a little lesson straight to your inbox. And the lessons are a mixture of habits, automations, filters. And the idea is that you are setting up a way to keep your inbox clean. And then you're also setting up the habits that keep your inbox down to Inbox Zero Hero. So it's not just getting to Inbox Zero Hero once, it's like, how do you stay there? Yes. And to me, that's really important because as a system strategist, one of my goals is I don't want you to use your inbox as a project management tool.
Yes, which so many of us do.
Of course.
I flag and unread emails that it's like my to-do list.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just, you shouldn't have to check more than
Yeah.
one place for what you're doing that day.
Yeah.
So my goal is to get you out of your inbox and help you really prioritize and just feel calm when you check your email.
Yeah. I love that. Tell me what is up next for you in your business, in life. What are you looking forward to?
That's a great question. Well, I'll be honest, this has been my best year ever in business.
I love that. Congratulations.
Thank you. It's been a really exciting year. And with that, it's because of the growth, there's been a lot of lessons. Like I learned the edge of my capacity.
Mm.
I learned how much I can do. So my goal right now is I'll be in Vietnam over the winter.
Very cool.
And that difference in time zone, I'm using as an opportunity to really just be my own client.
Yeah.
And so I really want to take what did I do this year and really hone in and improve the systems and the processes even more.
Great.
And repeat next year with even more ease without the stress that I had this year as I was in a growth phase. So I'm really excited to do this year again better. I'm also excited to see what is it like to work on an opposite time zone in December. That's a bit of an experiment. So that's kind of like a interesting thing I'll be working on.
Nice. And where can people find you if they want to learn more? I'm going to answer that for you for 1 second. I'm signed up for Devin's email newsletter list. So make sure to sign up to her email newsletter because not only does it put a smile on my face because her branding is so great and it's really fun, it also has tons of valuable information in there. So where else can people find you?
Thank you, Jac. Honestly, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
My email list is that I'm on LinkedIn. That's kind of the only social media I do now, but my email list is really the best. I get good feedback. Apparently my emails are great.
Yes.
I love writing them. So I recommend people just sign up for that.
Excellent. And then the two things that we talked about, the email zero hero, is that right?
Inbox zero hero.
Inbox zero hero. And the systems process mapping, we are going to link in the show notes along with Devin's email newsletter sign up, because I think both of those, if you are thinking that you need to upgrade your systems, if you need to really kind of operationalize something in your business in order to take it to the next level, in order to get a different result, you have to do something different in your business. I do think those are two great starting places. So Devin, this has been fun. I knew it would be. And I thank you for coming on and talking to Girls Make Bank.
Jac, it's been incredible. Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Girls Make Bank. If you like what you've heard, please remember to subscribe, like, and follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen. Please review and share our show to help spread the word and help your girls make bank. And I'd love to hear from you. Connect with me on LinkedIn or Instagram, or visit honeybeesgroup.co. Until next time, friends.